Alt R. Okay, so recording's on. Let's start. The topic for today is distress and urgency calls. Distress and urgency calls. Write down the topic, guys. Distress and urgency. So, everyone open document 9432. Article 9, if I'm not wrong. Check it. Give me the meaning of distress and urgency and explain it to me. Come on. You have a minute. Read it out for me. Mila?
Yes, sir. It's on page 988.
Page 88, article number 9.1, right?
Yes, 9.1.
9.1, yeah, was right. Read it out for me. What do you mean by distress and what do you mean by urgency?
Distress is a condition of being threatened by serious or imminent danger and of requiring immediate assistance. On the other hand, urgency is a condition concerning the safety of an aircraft or other vehicle, of some person on board or within sight, but which does not require immediate assistance.
Distress, urgency, definitions. Make it in your notes. ICAO का definition है. This is an ICAO definition. If the examiner asks you, what do you mean by distress? What do you mean by urgency? This is what they are looking for. You have the answer. Vomit it to them. What do you understand by this? What do you understand by distress? In the process of writing, I'm going to also explain it to you. कहता है a condition of being threatened by serious and or imminent danger, a grave danger. R.K. Bali calls it grave danger. Sriram, grave danger, right? What do you mean by the word imminent? What do you mean by the word imminent? Palak, come on, tell me.
Very immediate.
Very immediate. आने वाला पल. आने वाला पल. And हमें immediate assistance चाहिए. It's now or never. यमदूत आ चुके हैं. यमराज आ चुके हैं. Sriram, for you in English, the god of death has arrived.
That's the same
Okay.
in Tamil.
Same? Okay. Death is same everywhere. But what about urgency? Urgency, you need assistance. Safety has been threatened. So, if there is a condition which concerns the safety of the aircraft or other vehicle, so if it is not concerning you, if you sense smoke or fire in your aircraft, what are you going to say? It's a distress situation. But if you see smoke or fire at someone else's aircraft, it's an urgency. Mera nahi ja raha. See how selfish they are. So if it is about my aircraft, mayday or distress. Anything related to someone else or safety concern, there has been some safety apprehension, reduction in safety margins, or any person on board my aircraft or anyone who's in my sight, but that guy does not require immediate assistance. Now tell me something. If you're on grounds, anything happens, do you need immediate assistance? Everything is available to you. Who needs assistance? Anyone who's in the aircraft, right? Anyone who's in the aircraft. And in flight, both conditions should be there because वहां ऊपर में कोई मदद करने के लिए नहीं है. As long as you're in contact with the ground, yes. बॉम्ब है, ठीक है, बॉम्ब डिस्पोजल स्क्वाड आ जाएगा, आइसोलेटेड पार्किंग बे है. You have your things available. Hijack हो गया plane, isolated parking bay है. We have the ASG, Air Force Security Group. CISF के जवान हैं. आग लग गई, इवैक्यूएट कर सकते हो. टैक्सीवे पे क्या, रनवे पे भी कर सकते हो. Everything is available on ground. So on ground, no maydays. Now that you have written down the definition, confirm everyone has written down the definition and understood the definition. Anything that is not imminent and can be delayed and can be postponed is a urgency. You need to go and take a poop, but you can hold it. Urgency. Bad example, I know. So now that, yeah, buddy.
Distress is kind of hijacking or something also.
Hijack in the aircraft.
Huh.
Distress.
In air. Oh.
Hijack on the ground. Urgency. Why? Think about it. Let's say I'll give you certain examples, okay? Let's say there is a guy in the aircraft whose all engines have failed and he's just become a gliding. There's another aircraft with a patient or a passenger suffering heart attack. Both of them are in danger. Safety of the aircraft or persons on board has been compromised in both cases. But who has the priority? अरे अनम्यूट करके भी बोल
The
रहे हो.
gliding.
The guy was become a glider, right? The guy was become a glider. Now let's say there's an aircraft who has been hijacked on ground. There's an aircraft who has been hijacked in air. Who has the priority?
Hijacked in air.
Hijacked in air. Right? Now let's say, I give you another example. So since we are doing this, I want to do this exercise with you. Let's say we have an engine failure. Lie down with me. Let's say if you have an engine failure, Ujjwal, you're flying and you want to do your type rating on 737, right? No, 320. You want 320? Why, bro?
Airline, whatever they give option, but preferably 320 come on. 320.
It's a better aircraft, I know. Any 737 lovers out here? Palak is one of them, I know that. No? You want to fly the 320? Why?
Why not?
Why not the 737?
Why
And the
does
best way to
everything-
answer, I have seen this common thing amongst everyone. It's a best way to answer is to not answer and play an Uno reverse. Like, why not? Are?
I've always been an Airbus fan, never a Boeing fan. More
Okay.
safer, more stable.
Makes sense. So, yeah, Airbus is a better aircraft. Any 737 fan out here? You'll get placed on 320 only. I'm telling you.
Salary
You
matters.
fucking
But
fly 320 in your Sims, and you are an 737 fan.
It's a nice aircraft. It can go up to 41,000, right? But 320.
Yeah,
is
The door can blast also.
Sorry?
The door can blast also. Very fast.
Yeah. It's a compliment. You can take it or not.
Chalo. Any which ways, now let's say you have an engine failure. And you guys, half of the guys are flying a 320. Ujjwal is flying a 320. Sriram, I'll take you on another example. Janvi is flying the Diamond DA-40. No, Ujjwal is flying the DA-42. Okay, it's a multi-engine aircraft. Janvi, you're flying the 320. Tejas, you're flying the Cessna. I'm going to give you three conditions. Janvi is flying the 320, one engine fails. Is it a distress or an urgency? Ujjwal, you're flying the DA-62, multi-engine. Your one engine fails, but you were at flight level 100 and you cannot maintain 100 by any chance. Because the engine cannot take it. It's one engine is not producing enough power to sustain that altitude. Maybe you can glide down to a low altitude. Tejas, Cessna single engine fail. Who all are in a distress? Who all are in a pan?
I am in distress.
Very good,
Mayday
because
no.
you have only one engine. हो ही गया. Good. Janvi, what about
T20
you?
is on Pan.
Janvi, you are on pan. You are
Yeah.
on pan. Ujjwal, what about you?
I would give it a distress call.
Why so?
Still, you don't have the aircraft under control.
Exactly. You do not have any altitude control. You're continuously descending. That means you don't have time. If there is an engine failure and you cannot maintain altitude, and you cannot maintain altitude, then it's a distress. And if you can maintain altitude, it's a urgency. Works? Great. Let's say, let's take Sriram. He's flying the 737 and he's flying it at 410. Okay. And he undergoes depressurization. Another 737 lover, which is Palak, she also is flying the 737, but she is flying it at flight level 120. Both of them go under depressurization. And we have Vedant, who is also flying the 737, but he's at flight level 410. But the decompression or the depressurization is a slow one. It's a slow depressurization. It's a leak. It's not an explosive or a rapid depressurization. Please make sure that the word is depressurization, it's not decompression. Decompression is a sickness. It's decompression sickness, which is due to sudden loss of air pressure. The system that failed was the pressurization system. It's called a depressurization. Okay. So if the depressurization, Sriram, Mayday or pan?
Mayday.
What about you? Palak,
Pan.
why so?
I'm still at a safer altitude.
You're still at a safer altitude. So if I tell you you are at 140, are you at a safe altitude? What's the threshold of the safe altitude according to negative?
10,000 feet.
Sorry?
10,000 feet for
वो तो 110 पे थी. वो तो 110 पे थी. 120 पे थी. वो तो ऊपर ही है. 2000 फीट ऊपर है.
बट अभी
130
मरे नहीं है ना, यमराज ही है ना.
यमराज नहीं आया. बट नहीं, यहाँ पर यमराज पता है क्या है? यहाँ पर यमराज सरकार है. Till 100 you need not have any oxygen. 100 and above till 130
Oxygen.
you need to have oxygen, and compulsorily for cockpit crew के लिए तो है ही है. And you need to have it for passengers if the flight time exceeds more than 30 minutes. ऐसा ही कुछ है ना rule? This is the kind of a rule, na? But 130 and above, you need it. Compulsorily you need it. So that is why above 130, anywhere you get a depressurization, it's an explosive. It's a Mayday call. Okay. So if the depressurization, just write it down. Huh? Take a 1 minute break. Just write down whatever I'm writing. Can you hear me? Yeah. So now let's say you have a control surface failure. So acha, slow depressurization. Let's say you have depressurization. If it is below or between 100 and 130, or if you have a slow depressurization, it's here. And if you have a rapid depressurization, it's going to be here. ठीक है, anything to the left is distress, anything to the right is an urgency. Make sense? See, that's how I've written. Distress on the left, urgency to the right. Right? Hydraulic pressure loss or prime, let's say control surface failure. You have a control surface failure. What are control surfaces? What are control surfaces? एक second. बताओ.
Ailerons,
Controls pitch and
And
controls pitch and roll of the aircraft.
ailerons
Baba,
and elevators.
there are three primary flight control surfaces.
Elevator, rudders, aileron.
Aileron, elevator, and stable rudder.
बस इसमें से कुछ भी गया Mayday. Secondary flight control surfaces.
Flaps, slats, tabs.
Flaps, slats,
Trim tabs.
trim, very good, and speed brakes, spoilers, and technically power.
Reverses.
Sorry,
Thrust
Loud.
reverses.
no, then you'll be in ground, na? You cannot use the thrust reversers in air. In Airbus, you can't.
Is there a jamming mechanism in Airbus?
Not a jamming mechanism though, but there is a mechanism there's an air ground logic system. So if you have weights attached, so what happens is when you have weight on your wheels, the ground spoilers will go up, and only when the ground spoilers go up, the auto brakes will come in. That's the thing. And even if you put it to reverse thrust in flight, it won't open because it has an air ground logic system. A weight on wheels, kind of like that.
You know, there was an incident where a captain tried to go around, but accidentally he put thrust reverse. So one engine was with thrust, another engine was with thrust. So it was yawing to the right side.
I'll also come across this. So now let's say any of these things fail, any of the secondary flight control surfaces fail, it's a urgency. Regarding hydraulic pressure loss, if you have a complete loss of hydraulic pressure, then it's a Mayday, of course. But if you have a partial pressure loss, it's a pan. What else can you think of? Smoke and fire. Guys, remember, what is the worst emergency to have after all engine failure? After all engine failure.
Fire.
Fire and smoke.
Landing gear failure.
Belly landing can be carried out. Foaming the runway. A lot of things are there. Smoke and fire. Not even fire. If smoke is there, gone. Palak, Vedant.
So, with reference to hydraulic pressure loss, you mean the control becomes sluggish. We can't keep the aircraft stable, right?
Yes, over here you lose the control surface. Here, the control surface is sluggish and slow. Here, the complete loss. Yes, Vedant.
मैं कह रहा था कि ये बोइंग का जो इंसिडेंट हुआ था 8 सीरीज का, जिसमें दरवाजा बाहर आ गया था, तो वो एक सबसे मेजर रीजन नहीं हो सकता अब फायर एंड स्मोक के बाद?
वो किसका? फायर एंड स्मोक कहाँ से? वो तो डिप्रेशराइजेशन।
नहीं, मैं कह रहा था, आपने कहा ना कि ऑल इंजन फेलियर के बाद सबसे मेजर रीजन फायर एंड स्मोक होता है। हाँ, तो मैं कह रहा था कि जो बोइंग का इंसिडेंट हुआ था जिसमें वो उसका गेट ही बाहर आ गया था, तो वो नहीं हो सकता अब सबसे मेजर रीजन आफ्टर?
क्या दिक्कत है उसमें? अरे प्रेशर कुकर ही तो फटा है।
हाँ, तो
सेफ
अंदर की दाल
लैंडिंग तो हुई है ना, सेफ लैंडिंग तो हुई है। He made a safe landing. How many people died?
None.
was an incident. It was not an accident. Smoke. What's worse, smoke or fire? Smoke is worse.
Smoke.
A fire can be controlled. Smoke cannot be controlled. Smoke kills more people than fire. So how do you save yourself? Let's say you are in a compartment. You're in a compartment and there's some kind of smoke coming out from the पता नहीं भाई probably लंबा time.
अरे घर वाले पूछे एक आइडिया तो दे दो हल्का सा 10।
नहीं 9:30.
ठीक।
ठीक है. So now what is worse, smoke or fire? Smoke is worse. Why? Let's say there's in the cabin there's smoke coming out of your aft lavatory and you don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from some panel behind the lavatory and it's not accessible. But it's completely coming out of the lavatory and you have absolutely no control of it and you suspect an electrical fire or probably it's in the bleed ducts, air bleed ducts. Something is there. Where will smoke go? Smoke is hot. It's gonna rise up. What happens when you stand? Your nose is up. Even if you're sitting, the highest point your nose is there. The worst thing that you can do is you can breathe the oxygen mask. That's the worst thing that you can do because that's not a pressurized oxygen mask. You're going to be breathing the smoke along with it. What are the two best things that you can do? Lie flat on the ground. Nose, the more higher your nose is, the more chances of you breathing smoke. The more low on ground you go, the better will be the visibility. The better will be the visibility also. नीचे की जो पट्टियां है ना, जो हम लोग बोलते हैं ये लाल ये पट्टियां आपके काम है मतलब नाम आते हैं.
Pyrotechnics.
Sorry.
Pyrotechnic lights.
No, that's not pyrotechnic lights. नीचे
was
दिए
written
गए
somewhere.
luminescent strips, photoluminescent strips. Those are photoluminescent strips. ठीक है. Pyrotechnic is flares. Pyrotechnic flares. Remember, Rex, pyrotechnic flares. हाँ, इससे remember entering prohibited area. If you enter prohibited area, it's a mayday. Simply give a mayday call. ठीक है. Smoke or fire? So smoke is worse. What is the first thing that you should do as a cockpit crew when you sense smoke or fire?
वो इंजन फायर का डिसेबल करना होता है.
इंजन से आगे नहीं आ रही वो तो तू इंजन बंद कर देगा फिर उससे.
Take the oxygen mask.
Yes. The first thing that you have to do is wear the mask. That's the first thing that you have to do. Good. Check chat. ठीक है. ओके बाय. आज जन्ना अभी ले रहा है. ठीक है. बाय. ठीक है. Any doubts? No. So I'm going to give you a list of what's going to be in urgency, what's going to be in pan. So always remember whenever you have a distress call, it's going to be a Mayday. You're going to start it with a Mayday. Mayday comes from some Latin or French word, MEIDEI, which means help me. I don't know the exact language where it comes from. Okay. So it's Mayday and you have to say it thrice. A minimum of 2 times is required as per ICAO, but you have to say it thrice. Okay. For urgency, you have to use the words pan pan. So pan pan, pan pan, pan pan, like that. And please don't say mayday, mayday, mayday. नहीं नहीं भाई ऐसे नहीं बोलते. Pilots don't say mayday, mayday, mayday. No. Mayday, mayday, mayday. That's how you go to Pakistan Airlines ka crash, the one which just landed short of Karachi. Go to that crash. Look at, listen to the radio hearing. The pilot is on the verge of death. We are losing altitude. He's saying, but he's saying mayday, mayday, mayday. He's saying it like that. That's the calmness that a pilot should have.
मेरा डिकम्प्रेशन का दिखा देना एक बार.
क्या?
डीप्रेशराइजेशन का एक बार वो. डीप्रेशराइजेशन का.
Okay, so everyone just write this down. Huh? Engine failure. Fire and smoke. Hydraulic failure. Control surface failure. Rapid decompression. Slow decompression, right? You have written all of this? Great. Now, next, when we come to sickness, let's say a passenger on board is sick. It's a pan pan. Cabin crew, sick. Pan pan. Flight crew, sick. Mayday. Anything related to the cabin, anyone sick, it's a pan pan. There are 3 other crews available. Cockpit crew sick, it's a mayday. Period. Khattam. Please don't call them cockpit crew. Please don't call them air hostess. Cabin crew, flight crew. Okay? And it's not cabin crew. It's cabin crew. Okay? Professional words. So now what are the changes that are actually going to take effect? Once you are done writing this down, please give me a heads up. Have you noted down all of them?
हाँ, बट डीप्रेशराइजेशन में आपने फ्लाइट लेवल के नीचे कुछ और लिखवाया था ना, वो एक बार दिखा देना.
Slow depressurization, which was your condition. One second. Sorry. Okay, yeah, make a note. Come on, keep on making notes. Engine failure हो गया, smoke fire हो गया, sudden depressurization, passenger on board safe. Okay, let's say if there is any damage to the aircraft. But the aircraft is controllable. It's a urgency. तो इधर उल्टा लिखा, right? Here out. इधर उल्टा लिखा हुआ है. Yeah, recording's on again. Anything on the right hand side is distress. Anything on the left hand side is pan pan. Either it's ulta. Either it's ulta. So if there's any damage to the aircraft, anything in red is mayday. Aircraft is not in control, or let's say if the windshield is gone, if the windscreen is gone, forward visibility of the cockpit is impaired. There's a bird strike. It's a mayday. These are all situations that you can always come under. But if there's some damage to the aircraft, let's say the wing has been broken, the wing has snapped off, the tail has snapped off, anything, but the aircraft is controllable. Cool. It's a pan. Now, talking about if you spot any other aircraft or ship in distress, it's a mayday. If you spot them in distress, ship. But if that person has not reported or is on ground, it's a pan. If he's on ground, it's a pan. If there's any ship or any other aircraft in flight and in distress, you will just mayday and relay the mayday. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Calcutta Control, Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Charlie, relaying mayday for Air India 123. Something like this. Okay, Ujjwal? Great. Now,
Last
hydraulic
point.
failure. Yeah.
लास्ट पॉइंट रिपीट करना एक बार
मेडे को रिले भी कर सकते, ठीक है, मेडे को रिले भी कर सकते.
स्पॉटिंग एयरक्राफ्ट इन डिस्ट्रेस.
अगर कोई भी दूसरा तेरे को बंदा डिस्ट्रेस में मिला तो उसका डिस्ट्रेस में हाथ नहीं बढ़ेगी.
तो वो पैन पैन मेडे हुआ हमारे लिए.
मेडे
ठीक है.
वो भी डिस्ट्रेस में है ना. अगर ग्राउंड पे है तो पैन पैन, जहाज फ्लाइट में है तो मेडे. सिंपल, ज्यादा नहीं सोचने का. ठीक है. हाइड्रोलिक फेलियर यह मैं आपको करवा चुका हूं. हाईजैक, प्लीज डोंट, हाथ जोड़ के मेरी आपसे विनती है, देयर इज नो सच थिंग एज हाईजैक. इट्स कॉल्ड अनलॉफुल इंटरफेरेंस. Get rid of the word hijack. It is a word that we all teach you, use to explain it to you. We all give it to you so as to explain it. We all give it to you so as to explain it to you. Right? We all
What
give
is
it to you. Sorry?
What is after low fuel in the pan?
Low fuel, severe turbulence, severe turbulence. Remember I taught you severe turbulence, pan and descent? Right? Make a note of all of this. After that, I'll show you the format ka change. Okay?
जब अपन मे डे का कॉल देते हैं तो उसमें मतलब चांसेस बहुत कम होते हैं कि आप बच सकते हो, है ना, काइंड ऑफ. और पैन पैन में
हाँ.
चांसेस हैं.
भाई डिपेंड करता है, मतलब कैसे लेवल का तेरा फटे. अब पायलट तो बंदा बढ़िया हो तो क्या दिक्कत है.
तो भी एक जनरली भाई मे डे तो तभी बोलता है कि अब ऑलमोस्ट.
Mayday is worse than pan. जहां पर भी तेरे को इमीडिएट असिस्टेंस चाहिए मेडे बोल देना. जहां पर तू रुक सकता है पैन.
पर स्क्रॉल करना थोड़ा.
Yeah, why isn't low fuel Mayday call?
No, hitting reserve fuel or pan. No, where is low fuel or mayday call? Buddy, I told you. Anything on the right over here is a mayday. Anything on
Yeah,
the
so
left is a pan.
why isn't low fuel a Mayday call? If it is
When you
in
hit
reserve.
reserves, you still have 30 minutes to fly.
But usually reserve call is a Mayday call, right?
Again, ask yourself a question. Any aircraft whose engine has failed and you have fuel to fly.
No, you're in reserve fuel.
Yeah.
We have like last 30 minutes. Then after
30
that you go
minutes.
back glider.
You have 30 minutes. Yamraj will come after 30 minutes.
Still, like say for example, you can't land to your destination. Like if weather blocks and you can't land, you have to go to alternate. Then reserve fuel is Mayday call, right?
If you can't go to your alternate, that means you still have alternate fuel remaining.
Now I'm just talking the final reserve fuel. If you're on your final reserve fuel, it's still pan.
Yeah. It's a pan. Think about it. Any aircraft who's being given rapid depressurization, will I give him priority or you priority? Think. An engine fire. Will I give him priority or will I give you priority? 30 minutes to land. You can make 4 circuits.
Yeah, but say for example you're landing in London Heathrow or Amsterdam, where the space is very busy. 30
Exactly. That's
minutes.
why the pan is there.
Still, it's not
Then
a.
that then that 30 minutes. Listen, from the time you commence an approach, how much time does it take you to land? Not more than 7 minutes.
Mhm.
You can still do 3 approaches.
Hmm.
21 minutes, 3 approaches. Boom. And if you say pan, Heathrow will look after you. That's why it's Heathrow.
Mhm.
Right. Then they won't see traffic. Once it is pan, shit has hit the fan. Then there is no traffic sequence. No. Now it's you. Okay? That's why you're basically establishing priority for yourself. Yes, Janvi, yes, Sriram.
There's something called Mayday fuel, right?
One
Is it
second.
same as the reserve?
It's the same thing. It's a minimum fuel. When you hit minimum fuels. When you hit minimum fuel, it's a medium. When you hit reserve, it's not. And what will you do if you have not enough fuel to hold? You will divert to your alternate. Then it's a diversion call. If you are over a destination in a hold and you cannot land due weather, and then they say that you're hitting alternate fuel, then you're telling them, sir, will divert to my alternate. Okay? Yes, Janvi?
Unlawful interference on ground. ये pan.
Pan. Anything on ground is pan. Even if you have engine fire on ground, it's pan. Why? Fire extinguisher is available. You can evacuate. You can open the doors.
Yeah, Pawan, I sent you an article. Just have a look at it.
I'll have maybe. As far as I know, it's Mayday. Oh, sorry, it's pan. But let's see. Which particular part do you want me to read?
Final reserve fuel.
Okay. This article says it. Agreed. I'll tell it to you by today.
Yeah, because that is what I was assumed or thought that whenever you are on your final reserve, it's always a Mayday call, irrespective. So I just wanted to
Agreed.
clear
So
that.
no, this
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can be wrong in this. This is for what I've seen, and I've seen in the papers. But there's just one paper where you are hitting your reserves, and in that paper they said pan. I remember this, but if it is Mayday, we'll change it to Mayday. See, this article is telling it right, correct. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go search the iCars, search the cars. वहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं लिखा होगा. As soon as I get it, I'll send it. In fact, give me a minute. I'll send it to you right away. So Jefferson. If Jefferson has written it, that means it should be there. Yep, you're right. It's Mayday. Good, yeah. Nice points. It's Mayday, as per I got. So we are gonna take this and we are gonna make a change. Instead, we're gonna do this. Yeah. Instead of putting low fuel can have separate meanings as well. But if we ever hit reserve fuel, it's a Mayday. Good point. Ujjwal, great. Nice one. Sriram, nice one. So now let's go to the calls. Format. Look at this. You all knew, write down the format for any Mayday or Pan call. You all knew the golden format. Whom, who, where, and what. Instead, what are we going to do? Acha, that what contains of information, action, request. Everyone knows this. Ujjwal, you know this, confirm? Yes, great. So now, instead of this format, what we are going to do, we are going to take the where, we're going to put it down, and we're going to take the what and put it up. Boom. And we're going to add a Mayday or a pan here. And at the end, you add a POB. That's it. Why? Because what has happened to me is more important than where has happened to me. Clarity. Okay? ये क्या हुआ? Then कहाँ हुआ? Okay? Let's have a few examples. And always on 1 to 1.5. For the purpose of RTR exam. For the purpose of RTR exam. For the purpose of RTR exam. For the purpose of RTR exam.
What's
Document
written after
9.4.
what?
Information action request. Information action request. So instead of following this, you can see the format on the left. It's a more beautiful format. Have a look. I just wanted to show you the structure of where did it actually come from.
Oh, so Pavan, irrespective, even on ground, if you give a pan call, you switch to 1 to 1.5.
This is just for the RTR exam. So what happens is, when you're actually doing this, you're letting the examiner know, I know this is the international distress frequency and I know it. So over there, you won't have a radio that you're going to tune, right? So that is the reason every single time that you change a frequency, every single time you change a frequency, okay, you're transitioning from Nagpur Tower to Nagpur Approach, you re-mention the frequency to actually simulate the fact that you have tuned to a new frequency. Getting it? Otherwise, in real life, we never mention the frequency. You know that. It doesn't make any sense. Works?
In real fuel has to be mentioned, right?
Yeah, you can also mention this, but POB is compulsory. So let's have a pilot flight crew member who has failed. So what do you call when a flight crew has failed, or he's sick, or he cannot perform his or her duties? Call it pilot incapacitation. You call it pilot incapacitation. बंदा 2 बार reply नहीं दिया ना, just take over controls and fly the aircraft. What is the first thing that you do when you experience pilot incapacitation? Take over controls, stabilize and fly the aircraft. Manage the flight path of the aircraft, make it stable. Then communicate. When you are in a rapid decompression, whenever you experience a rapid depressurization, what are you supposed to do? First, masks on. Second, fly the aircraft, put the aircraft into a dive. That's what you do. You put the aircraft into a dive. An emergency descent. Establish the emergency descent procedure. Thereafter, you navigate and turn towards the nearest aerodrome where a safe landing can be made. Then you tell Mayday. Then you say Mayday. Okay. So let's say your pilot has fainted. Give me a call. Tejas. Give me a call. लिखते हुए.
So what is S/C?
Set course. Requesting to set course direct to Varanasi. So always remember information action request. Make notes. Make notes. Whatever I'm saying, you just make notes. Anything medical happens, request medical services on arrival. Write it down. Anything medical happens, request medical services on arrival. Request priority landing. These are all, the basic things you should actually know how to use as a pilot. Request medical services on arrival. If there is a hijack situation. Okay, medical services on arrival done. Priority landing done. Next, if there is a hijack, request security personnel on arrival. If there's fire and smoke, write it down, Vedant. Marks will be allotted for writing each of these points.
हाँ लिख रहा हूँ.
Hijack, security personnel on arrival. Bomb threat, bomb or bomb threat. Bomb detection and disposal squad, BDDS team. Yeah, BDDS squad, BDDS. Bomb detection and disposal. Bomb detection and disposal. Many people say bomb disposal squad. No, it's BDDS, bomb detection and disposal squad.
BD
DS, bomb detection and disposal squad.
शॉर्ट फॉर्म लिख सकते हैं क्या?
नहीं,
इसकी है ये फुल लिखना. ओके.
Oh, Pawan say
एक
again.
आरटी में नहीं है. Bomb detection, bomb detection and disposal squad.
मेडिकल के लिए आता है.
क्या?
मेडिकल के लिए
Request medical services on arrival, ARV. लिख ही दूं. इसका फुल फॉर्म लिख देना. Request security personnel and what else? Request अगर कुछ fire वगैरह, if there is any fire, request rescue and firefighting services. What else? अगर कुछ नहीं समझ आए, worst of the worst conditions, request all immediate assistance. बता पुलकित.
भाई रिमेम्बर दैट काठमांडू पेपर एयर एम्बुलेंस दिल्ली ओवर एट लखनऊ बंदा टपक गया फ्लाइट में. मेडिकल ऑफिसर ऑन अराइवल विल नॉट एग्जिट द एयरक्राफ्ट.
हाँ, कौन सा था?
वेरी वो आपने वो नया वाला जो एक पीडीएफ था ना, उसमें वी वर रैंडमली डूइंग द पेपर्स, तो उसमें इट केम अप. दिल्ली काठमांडू प्राइवेट एयर चार्टर एयर एम्बुलेंस, वी वर क्रिटिकल था बंदा लखनऊ के ऊपर. उसको
It was either Mike Alpha Kilo. It was either नहीं. देखता हूँ, मैं बताता हूँ. Mike Alpha Kilo ऐसा ही कुछ था.
बट दिस वाज द
Alpha
सिचुएशन.
Yeah. So that is there. What else? Request priority landing. और क्या हो सकता है? Nothing else. Yeah, nothing else. Okay, you should be able to know how to use these. Okay, so now let's say I'm gonna give you a few conditions. I want you guys to write down the calls for me. Let's say engine failure, you are unable to maintain altitude. Palak, post landing, give me a call. You are general flying somewhere around, where do you stay? Bangalore, right? Okay. So let's say you are general flying somewhere around Bangalore and you are passing flight level 60. You experience an engine failure and you're commencing forced landing on a field around you. So the call has to look something like Mayday, 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 Bangalore, approach, Victor Tango, Papa Lima Kilo on 121.5. Engine failure. Keep it this short, okay? You have to keep it this short. Kya hua? Engine failure. What has happened? Information, engine failure. Action, what are you doing? Forced landing on a field ahead. Simple. Or you can even better give the location of the field. Forced landing on a field northeast of Bangalore Airport or Bangalore. Works. Request all immediate assistance. Request all immediate assistance. Position. Position. Radial. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Position I can give now 20
Yeah, position.
miles.
Yeah, position say 20 nautical miles, radial 315, or let's say 055. Bravo Lima Romeo, passing flight level 60. Persons on board 02.
Say again the flight level.
Passing flight level 60. Palak will repeat the call for you. Works? Everyone noted it down? Great.
Say again.
Now
Position.
let's say
Say again the position, please.
Position 20 nautical miles, Romeo 050, route whichever XYZ, flight level 060.
हाँ बताओ उज्जवल श्रीराम
While
tell me.
mentioning, yeah, while mentioning Bangalore or any city name, can we mention the NAVID or the ICAO code of that field?
Anything works.
While writing,
Anything works.
anything works.
भाई डिस्ट्रेस है तो इनबाउंड आउटबाउंड नहीं जा रहा है खुल के उज्जवल टेल मी buddy I love your voice I can't hear you.
Hi, do you read me?
I read if I go ahead.
Yeah. So the format is 2 on the frequency 121.5. So you're addressing Bangalore Tower on 121.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said Bangalore approach, no?
Approach whatever. You guys can't see me? अच्छा you guys can see me great. बता जानवी.
कॉल रिपीट करानी है मेरा नेटवर्क चला गया था
करेगी ना पलक है.
क्या सॉरी अच्छा
Acha, we'll
पलक
give you the call. We'll give you the call a little. 1 second. Wait. Palak, just repeat the call for a once.
How do you read Janvi?
मेरी सॉरी
Okay. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Bangalore approach. Victor Tango Papa Lima Kilo on 1 to 1.5. Experiencing engine failure. Proceeding to force land on a field ahead, south of Bangalore Airport. Request all immediate assistance. Position 20 nautical miles. Romeo 0 Forward 0. XYZ. Light level 060. Persons on board 108.
108. Okay. Let's say now Ujjwal. No, Sriram. Sudden depressurization.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. 1 second. Can I write and transmit or?
Yeah, you have to write and transfer. Buddy.
Okay. Then bear with my speed. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Bangalore Control. Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Charlie on 1 to 1.5. Experiencing rapid decompressor, rapid correction, rapid depressurization. Proceeding for emergency descent, flight level 100. Request permission. Position 50 DME. Inbound Bravo India Alpha. Flight level forward 10. Descending POB 150.
Say again position.
50 DME inbound Bravo India Alpha. And flight level forward 10 descending.
Flight level, please.
410 and descending. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it's
do that.
correct.
Of course. Say 310. In the exam, you have to give your cruising level. Now it's for fun sake you can give.
So
Okay, Vedant.
we'll send flight level descending or passing flight level.
Simply say passing 310. Mayday, 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 Bangalore approach, Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Charlie on 1 to 1.5, rapid depressurization, commencing emergency descent. Request priority landing at Bangalore. Position 50 nautical miles inbound Bravo India Alpha. Whiskey 20. Passing flight level 350 now. Make sense? Persons on board 138.
इसमें रिक्वेस्ट क्या करना है फ्लाइट लेवल
Priority landing. Priority landing. Vedant, you have a doubt?
Oh, yes. Won't we request medical service on arrival?
That's later. That comes later. Okay, so the actual procedure goes: you will commence your emergency descent. You'll tell him, okay, see, I'll tell you. Things go aviate, navigate, communicate. उसके बाद passengers आते हैं. उसके बाद passengers आते हैं. आप कहीं पे भी जाते हो, आपको जब पैसे आप दे देते हो तो आपको अच्छा ट्रीटमेंट मिलता है? नहीं मिलता है ना, क्योंकि अब तो पैसे दे दिए. पैसेंजर्स का भी वही है. So no, it's not that way. But see, it's more important to keep the aircraft well separated and clear, and you have to establish him in a emergency descent. That is more important. Now, after the aircraft is established in an emergency descent, after you have reached, a safe altitude below 150, somewhere there, then after that you can call up the cabin routing to. Then you can ask her, "Okay, bro, how is the condition outside? Is there anyone who's sick? Is there anyone who has fallen off the plane? Right? What is the condition? And if they need any assistance on arrival or not, then you will tell them, okay, bro, this has happened." Because now maybe you are en route cruising, you have not yet decided your destination, you are in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Then are you going to ask for medical services? No, you are not. You're going to ask medical services for the destination, right? Yes, Sriram Tejas, tell me.
श्रीराम सेड कि समथिंग नॉटिकल माइल इनबाउंड और आउटबाउंड, तो वो सही है कि गलत है?
मत बोलो.
तो फ्रॉम टू कुछ भी बोलना ही नहीं है?
नहीं, मत बोलो ना, जरूरत है ना.
अच्छा,
हमेशा में जरूरत है ना कि मैं एक व्यूअर से इनबाउंड की ट्रैक करूं, हमेशा एक व्यूअर से आउटबाउंड ट्रैक करूं. अभी मेरा फेलियर हुआ, मैं जहां चाहूं मैं घुसूं.
Sir, I can simply say na then 50 DME, bas.
Simply say at this range, northeast. Not even say radial. At 50 DME range, northeast of Bangalore. So anything that you can, say. In real life तो कुछ भी बोल दे कि भाई हाँ एक फैक्ट्री है बाजू में, landing next to that. Real life just say him so that he can at least find you. Yes, Sriram.
And while writing Indigo 612 or something, should we write in 6E or iFly?
6E.
Why?
Say again.
Why 6E? What we heard in call sign?
लिख लेना, सेम थिंग है. उसने कॉल साइन में 6 ही दिया. बोलने के कॉल साइन सिर्फ बोलने के लिए होता है. तो लिखने के लिए तुम IGO लिख लो, iFly भी लिख सकते हो. Whenever in doubt, write what you're speaking in full words. Whenever in doubt, write what you're speaking. If you're saying iFly 1, 2, 3, use the words iFly. If you are in doubt, I am here to tell you that you can use 6E to reduce your time. You can do that. It is allowed.
एग्जाम में कर सकते हैं.
Yes, it is allowed. एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन पेपर नहीं दिया हुआ है तुमको. Yes, Ujjwal.
Yeah, so the position call. Oh yeah, so the position call here should be the point, flight level, or point, altitude, route, and flight level, or can we just write overhead some station and just go to the next?
Anything. Just tell him your position.
I can just tell overhead Bravo Bravo November, and then I can tell passengers on board. Or should I complete with flight level? Is it needed?
Mention your vertical level, because see, in this case you will be you have just commenced descent, right? You've just commenced descent, and it is very much a possibility that you can collide with other traffic, because now you are becoming a dive vessel, right? So mention your flight level. That is good.
Got it.
Mention. Let's say Janvi, your co-pilot, has fainted. What are you gonna do? Vedant, prepare for the call of partial pressure hydraulic loss. And Tejas, prepare for hijack on ground. Palak, prepare for
On ground.
Yeah, hijack on ground. And Palak, you prepare for complete loss of hydraulic pressure. Okay. Yeah, Sriram, tell me.
Shall I leave for dinner?
Go,
10
prepare
o'clock
for
again,
dinner.
central now class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you. And you send the master copy of the papers. pattern at all.
I'll send it. Actually, it's recording. I cannot show my files. Janvi, go ahead.
Delhi approach, Victor Tango, Juliet Alpha November.
Louder,
on 1
please.
to 1. Delhi approach, Victor Tango, Juliet Alpha November on 1 to 1 decimal 5. Co-pilot incapacitated, proceeding for emergency landing.
यार तेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही, इधर देख के बोल.
मैं लिखूंगी कैसे?
मैंने कौन बोला, मैंने कुछ बोल दिया था. यार ऐसे you can write your face, you can put your face here and you can point your eyes down. आपकी स्पीच रहती है, आप जब ओरेशन अगर करते हो तो you have your speech right here in front of you. Just take a quick glance, but your mouth should always point to the, you know, the audience. No? वाला कुछ सिखाया जानवी को, इसको ओरेशन अगर सिखा आती है आपको. Hey, learn from her. She's good at it. She does a lot of. मन करती थी. Please tell me you don't do months, or you do months.
Yeah.
Yes. भाई पता है, मेरे को पता ही नहीं था. किसी को पता है मन होता क्या है?
Modern United Nations.
अरे रुक जा. इनसे पूछना.
MUN?
हाँ
किया है.
तेजस
है भाई, क्या बोला?
MUN
योगा से रिलेटेड है
नहीं मालूम है. उज्जवल,
तो आउट ऑफ
जानवी,
कोर्स.
Yeah, you represent. You're a delegate of the country, and you represent.
जानवी, मेरे को पता है, मेरे को इतनी फैसिनेटिंग चीज लगी. बट मेरे को ये 12वीं के बाद जाके पता चला कि ऐसी भी चीजें होती है. मैं जब फ्लाइंग स्कूल में था तब मेरे को पता चला ऐसी चीजें एग्जिस्ट करती हैं. हमारे स्कूल में मंज ही नहीं होते थे. मेरे अंदर का एस शंकर आ जाएगा बात. मजा आता है भाई. ये वीडियो खत्म होने दो, फिर मैं बताता हूँ. जानवी, give me a call.
Delhi approach, Delhi approach, Victor Tango, Juliet Alpha November on 1 to 1 decimal 5. Co-pilot incapacitated, proceeding for emergency landing. Request medical assistance on arrival. Request priority landing. Position 10 DME inbound.
10
Delhi Papa.
Delhi Papa November. 10 DME. Delhi Papa November. मैंने बोला था यही होता है, दिल्ली वालों के साथ होता है.
तो एक सेकंड, तो VOR की वजह
अभी तक नहीं सब फिगर आउट किया. 10 DME. डेल्टा पापा नगर.
डेल्टा पापा. सॉरी, मैं दिल्ली सोच रही थी ना वो.
हाँ
तभी 10 DME inbound Delta
10 नहीं
Papa
पापा.
November. 10 DME inbound Delta Papa November. Alpha 3 forward 7. Descending passing flight level 300. Persons on board 150.
ठीक है, मेडे बोला था.
Mayday.
तो पूरी कॉल पानी में गई.
यार अगर गलती से आप एग्जाम में भूल जाते हो, जैसे अभी जानवी भूल गई, ठीक है,
Say
तो
the
फिर
word disregard. Restart.
तो फिर मतलब मार्क्स मिल जाएंगे ना एकदम एंड में भी रियलाइज हुआ तो?
डिसरिगार्ड बोल के वापस पूरी कॉल देगा, बिल्कुल मिलेंगे मार्क्स, कोई नहीं रोक सकता। ज्यादा बोलने के कभी मार्क्स नहीं कटते, हमेशा याद रखना। पुलकित,
सर जब फोर्थ
जस्ट वन सेकंड ऑफ पलक। पुलकित जस्ट डू मी अ फेवर, जो तो मैंने आपको भेजे थे ना, वो याद है मास्टर कॉपी भेजी थी मैंने लास्ट टाइम?
मेल वाले की बात कर रहे हो ग्रुप की?
सारी जितनी भी,
ओके।
सारी रीशेयर कर दे, जितनी मैंने पहले भेजी हैं। वो नहीं, वो जिसके सारे कंबाइंड पेपर्स हैं, वो एग्जामिनर्स कॉपी टाइप्स, एग्जामिनर्स कॉपी टाइप्स।
जो तनीषा ने शेयर किया था ग्रुप पे।
तनीषा ने, मैंने 2 भेजे थे, किरण ने एक भेजा था,
राइट 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 राइट।
है ना, सुशांत ने भी शायद एक भेजा था।
यस।
तो वो सारी शेयर कर दो, स्पेशली एग्जामिनर्स कॉपी।
डन डन डन।
एक बार आप, एक मेरा फोन चेंज हुआ है, मेरे को मिल नहीं रहा है किसी का।
अरे बिल्कुल भाई, बट भाई डेली वाज अ ब्लिस टू इयर्स यार।
क्या?
डेली नवंबर डूड, इट वाज किलर।
इनको समझाया भी है, गलती होगी, समझते हैं।
मजा आया।
पलक, योर टर्न।
Sir, I had one doubt. When we are commencing forced landing, तब हम priority landing के लिए request करते हैं क्या?
नहीं, फोर्स
नहीं
लैंडिंग
ना?
मतलब झाड़ों में लैंड कर रही है।
हाँ तो फिर request all immediate assistance ही ना बस।
Yes. अच्छा, you have already given a call now. Anyone who hasn't given a call? Ujjwal, complete loss of hydraulic pressure.
ये जानवी ने ना इमरजेंसी लैंडिंग बोली थी कि प्रायोरिटी लैंडिंग बोली थी?
प्रायोरिटी।
मेडी मेडी
Emergency
मेडी
बोली।
मेडिकल में तो आपने प्रायोरिटी दिया था।
आपने, अच्छा, one more thing, जानवी, in your call request priority landing and medical services, ऐसे कर दे, request medical services on arrival, request priority landing, दो अलग बार क्यों बोलना है? Request priority landing and medical services on arrival, ठीक है? Yes, Ujjwal, continue.
मेडी 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 Bangalore approach. Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Charlie on 121.5. Complete
Mayday
loss.
में बोला था।
Complete loss of hydraulic pressure. Proceeding for emergency descent.
Why? Hydraulic pressure loss. Why emergency descent? So now, let's say, for example, you're going from Bombay to Calcutta, and your route is Golf R50, chart number 4. Locate yourself. Locate yourself. Mate, everyone has to write this call down. Huh? This is an important call.
Say the route again, please.